well, as would Century Ply be. But I must say, India's furniture industry, while it's seen a shift in consumer preference because ready-made furniture has turned attractive, even though sold by the burgeoning online furniture retailers, and it's prompted plyboard makers to ramp up their small facilities for medium-density fiber board as well, which is best suited for making ready-made furniture. Is oversupply gnawing at the margins? And will margins come off under intense competition and pricing pressure, despite revenue numbers looking okay? Let's put that question to Sanjay Agarwal of Century Plyboards, who joins us right now on the show. Viewers would remember that back in September, when I spoke to him last, he did say that there is some bit of pressure on the margins, but they are taking certain actions by increasing prices of items by 1 to 2%. Sanjay, good having you. Thanks much for joining in. You were very candid then, and I'm sure you'll be very candid now. How is business looking? And more importantly, because of raw material pressures, how is the margin picture looking like?
It seems you are talking about the MDF business.
I'm talking about the overall business and then maybe talk about the MDF business individually as well.
Okay. So as far as the panel business is concerned, the plywood part of it, absolutely there are no margin pressures now. We have been able to increase the prices in the market. So I don't think there is an issue as far as panel plywood is concerned. As far as our laminate is concerned, there was a lot of pressure because the price of crude has increased, and because we use a lot of phenol and formaldehyde in our system, so our costs have increased and we took some time to actually pass on the costs. But I think Century Plywood has been able to now, or maybe the only company in India now who have been able to pass on the total costs to the customer. And from this quarter onwards, or maybe the later part of this quarter onward, our profits will come back as far as laminate is concerned. MDF, yes, that's a story which is under a lot of pressure right now because of a lot of capacity coming in. Our capacity came exactly 1 year back, about 1 year, 2 months back, last year in October, November. After that, 2 new plants have started, and that has put pressure on the market. The market is growing, but then there is so much of competition that the prices have fallen. Last time also I told you, and I think now also still there have been a little bit of I thought that the prices will not go down, but in last about a month or so again the prices have gone down by 2 to 3%. Now we all feel within the industry also, we feel that is the rock bottom, but then I thought so in the last quarter also. But now actually we are there, so I don't think further pressure will come, and we will have to survive this pressure for maybe next about 2-3 quarters before the growth actually takes up with the capacity available. We have a benefit only through this, which happens usually, that all the newcomers who were planning new capacities and plants who were not in the industry, all of them have totally closed their shop. So at least that part now we are secured that next 2 years or 2.5 years, at least new capacities, or maybe 3 years new capacities will not come in this business. So that gives us a lot of consolation in our mind that maybe after a year MDF will also do well.
Well, yes. That's very candid. Okay, let me ask a couple of follow-ups on that, Sanjay. Firstly, when you mentioned that the newcomers who are planning to set up shop, are you talking about the industry-wide newcomers or predominantly in the organized space alone? Because I believe the industry still has a sizable population of unorganized players whose cost structures may be adverse compared to the cost structure of a company like yours.
You see, the newcomers I was talking about was for MDF business.
Yeah, so MDF.
So in MDF business, the people who wanted to come into MDF business are not into panel industry. They are from other industries, and they saw our figures or Green's figures, and they found that, yeah, this is a very profit-making industry. So that's why actually they wanted to come in this industry. But now they have understood in last about 8 months, they have understood that the prices have really gone down and the industry will not fare well very soon. So they all, because there was so much of demand of machinery with the machinery manufacturers, that is where we get our news from. So all of them have now gone under back burner. So that is how I say that these are all new people who do not belong to our industry. So people who come in from other industry create more bloodbath. So actually that is a big relief for us actually.
Okay, well, that's maybe good news. If I'm just trying to understand, and I want a slightly long-term picture from you as well, but just firstly from the short term. So, keeping in mind that MDF could pick up 2-3 quarters down the line, the other businesses look reasonably okay right now. How are you placed, one, on growth, and two, on overall blended margins for you as a company for the first 2 or 3 quarters of calendar year 19 or 2019?
So, you see, we have now been able to protect our EBITDA as far as our plywood business or our laminate business is concerned. And looking forward, you see, we have been able to increase the prices. If the prices of crude remain at this level or go further down, which people are saying that it may go down to $55, $53, if that happens, the prices of phenol will go down. And that will actually help us in rather improving our profitability a little more. So, as far as plywood and laminate is concerned, we will be able to maintain an EBITDA where I think the lowest we have gone is 14.5 and the highest we have gone is about 16.5 or 17%. So, this will remain within this range. As far as MDF is concerned, yes, that's a matter of concern and that will try to pull down our profits. But I don't think even jointly we will go down below 14.5% because even in H1 there was a lot of pressure on MDF profitability. I think our EBITDA in MDF was less than 10%. But still we could manage a 14.5% EBITDA overall. So I think we will be able to do that.
Okay, interesting. Couple of questions. One, I think when I read notes while you're mentioning that you've been able to pass on, you are probably the only company that has managed to pass on some price increases. For the plywood space, the demand has been weak and there is competition from substitutes. On the laminate space, I think there is by and large for the industry a lack of pricing power. Do you think this will remain to be the case for the next couple of quarters at least? You've done whatever little you could do on the price hikes. There will not be any more price hikes possible?
I don't think that we should actually take further price rise because we are already now the highest priced laminate. We will now wait for our competitors to catch up. And I'm sure they are working very hard to increase their prices because if they don't increase, it will show on their margins and it will be impossible for them to survive. Rather, very frankly, I have been getting calls from mid-size or a small size laminate manufacturers who are actually now asking us to join hands and take out the marketing from them in our fold and maybe take up 51% in their company and all that. But yes, we have already, for the moment, we have said that no, we are not interested for the moment. So I don't think other manufacturers have a choice but to increase prices.
You be, Sanjay? Why wouldn't you be? That's a simple way to expand capacity, right? Why wouldn't you be interested in doing that?
You see, we are right now, you will find that at your cost, at television channels cost, we have reduced our advertising on channels and we are putting lot of money and time and effort onto ground actually. So what we are doing, suppose today we are working with 10,000 or 8,000 or 12,000 retailers. We are looking at a retailer count of maybe 25,000. Today we might have distributors and dealers in the range of maybe 1,000, 1,500. So we look at increasing them to maybe 3,000 or 4,000. So for that actually we require a lot of investment into that area. So that's why the last one whole year we have been out of advertising and we are putting in that money on the ground. So we believe that we need to first prepare our capability inside the company to take care of whatever we acquire. If we just hire them or we just buy them out, and again we are in a soup, there is no point in doing that. And increasing our capacity by ourselves is also not a big challenge to us. I don't have to go to the factory, I think, even once, because that is the kind of internal capability we have now built on. So why should I pay high prices to acquire capabilities which I can grow within a year? Why should I pay high prices?
Okay. Sanjay, one final question. You mentioned twice in your answers about phenol being a key raw material that you use and the prices coming off might help. I presume there is a large domestic phenol capacity that has come on stream from Deepak Nitrite as well. Would that help companies like yours reduce your import costs? Because earlier the currency would have played spoilsport because the rupee was weakening. And now you have a domestic capacity and you can probably get in from there.
Very frankly, they were the culprit in all this increase of cost because they did not come up on time when they promised. So all the importers, including us, put the import on little bit of a back burner. So we did not buy when the prices were lower. So we were caught actually because for some technical reasons their capacity was delayed. Yes, of course, it's a large capacity and it's going to help us. There is no two thing about it. We expect them to be online very soon, but whenever, as fast as they can.
Okay, and will that help you materially? Companies like you materially?
Absolutely, because the prices has to go down. New capacity, you see, whenever new capacity comes in any area, like it has come into MDF, it has pressurized us pricing, our pricing, and we have reduced. Similarly, phenol, when the new capacity comes in, the capacity of the phenol or the demand of the phenol was being met across the world. Now such a huge capacity, it's not a small capacity. So that capacity will certainly create an extra supply in the system, and we will be, they will have to reduce prices to gain entry into a CenturyPly or other manufacturers. There is no two thing about it.
Okay, we wish you all the best for that. Hope for their sake and your sake, we do hope the capacity comes on stream sooner. But Sanjay, thanks for being candid. We look forward to talking to you post your quarterly numbers.
Certainly, thank you.
That's very candid, Sanjay Agarwal, yet again, talking about the numbers and the outlook ahead. Well, maybe MDF business picks up after 2 or 3 quarters. I expect a steady state. I think most brokerages that have met them have spoken about a 15% growth in top line.